guys, so let's take a look at Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. This is a stock that I really like a lot. I mean, personally speaking, I love EV sector, high tech as well, chips makers as well. But e-commerce is something that I really believe in. I think that's the future of purchasing. It's been for a while, actually. I think the COVID-19 just made it so realize a lot more for people, businesses, or actually, it's a do or die situation, right? I mean, there's a lot of businesses that don't have e-commerce, don't have a developed site. So I think there's a lot of them that are not going to be able to go to the next level. But those that were, I mean, think about Shopify, right? Think about Square, think about Alibaba, GD, right? So there's all those corporations that are definitely booming right now since COVID-19, because we're all purchasing from home, right? And I think even today, I mean, today, by the way, I was at Black Friday. It's not the same, right? I don't see as much people going there and rushing, throwing those doors down, smashing them down. I think a lot of the online purchasing will be very humongously done online. So that being said, all right, Alibaba took a huge hit here, as you can see, right? They went all the way from three highest point at 317 to 58. By the way, which was my first initial great purchase here at 156. I think 57, and then I repurchased here at 363 more or less. So I'm heavily invested in Alibaba. I really love e-commerce, like I said, and I will be repurchasing, by the way, very shortly again in a different account, because I believe this will run up very, very much so. Um, by the way, Alibaba, why they got hit here pretty, why the downside here? Two reasons mainly. I mean, the Ant Group, they were going public with Ant, and that got blocked by stock market regulators and the Chinese government. So that's still in discussions. I believe it's still going to go through. I mean, there's always going to be a negotiation there and some politics involved, but it should go through. And when it does, believe me, this will boom to the moon. The second reason, well, they're being scrutinized by regulators as well, and that's why they're still, growing right now. Since that's pretty nice to see 256 to 270 today, 276 actually. So that's great news, but it might be volatile for a few days, weeks, even perhaps months, as we figure out what are going to be the next moves from the Chinese government and stock market regulators. So stay tuned for that, but definitely this is a great stock to be invested in. I'm a firm believer of this company. In terms of P, right? So they're at 37. You know what? It's decent for e-commerce, and is actually they're not only about purchasing online, they also are invested in different sectors. So they're a pretty interesting company that I love very much, and their P rating is still decent for this magnitude of company, but as well as in terms of their revenues. So let's take a look at their financial. As you can see, the net income pretty strong here. They have a strong equity as well, so strong assets. And in terms of net cash, they are in negative. So that's something to pay attention to. In terms of their last earnings, well, they did really, really. I mean, this is Mike Tyson style, right? So EPS 18, forecasted 1382, revenues 155 billion, sorry, and against 154 billion. So their APIs. Look at this guy. I mean, this is the cherry on the top. This is just amazing. Alibaba just did recently their day of shopping online. I mean, they did tremendously well. So no doubt that this company will be very successful. Now, towards the end of the year, we will see, I believe, this company go and hit the $300 price target. So I think it's going to hit that price point. And then from that moment and on, if the end group resolves and the regulators resolves as well issue, this could easily go beyond $330 and hit new highs. So definitely a company you should definitely do your research and look forward to. I'm a big believer, so I'm going to keep investing in this one for the long term. Definitely for the long term at this point. Now let's take a look at the next one on my list, which is no other than Square, or ticker symbol SQ. This has been also doing pretty good since the beginning of the year. I mean, as you can see, COVID-19 was their main catalyst. I mean, they just did boom since then. straight line upwards. They had obviously a drop here, as you know well. The vaccines, Pfizer news, that was actually something that draw them down. People overreacted and over sold, so that was a great opportunity. I purchased it initially at 186, 188 more or less, and repurchased definitely on the drop dip side here, as I'm a firm believer of SQ. I mean, they do all transactions. Think about PayPal, right? So everything we're doing here with our cell phones and so on, the small chips here, so we're just passing on our PayPass or cards and cell phones. So this is tremendously something I see that in the future we're going to be doing. Forget the paper money, especially COVID-19. Think, guys, the way I think about this is, let's think short term, but let's think long term. What do we think is going to be the behavior from consumers, but also companies? What's going to work? Especially, what have we learned from COVID-19 thus far, and what we think is going to be the outcome afterwards, right? We all know that we went through rough times, right? Paper money, all these coins and so on. So there's a lot of things to consider here. Cryptocurrency as well taking a boom right there, right? So everything's aligning towards more the virtual side of things in terms of money, and not seeing this on the paper more. So I believe paperless is not something that distant in the future that we might see. That being said, let's talk about SQ here. SQ, so I think since then that was a great dip here. As you can see, it went all the way back to 212 despite the news from Pfizer and Moderna afterwards. Do I think it's still going to go up? Oh yeah, definitely. You better believe it. I believe that this stock could definitely hit towards the end of the year $250 more or less. Do I think there's still going to be a rotation towards the recovery stocks? Yes, I do believe so. Is it going to take a hit? Yes, I think there's going to be some downside to SQ, but I think there's a great momentum. There's some companies, banks as well, that have raised their price target for SQ. So everything's aligning pretty well. They're pretty strong. I'm a great believer of SQ. Their PE ratio, they're at $379. So that's a considerable amount as well, right? So something to keep in mind as we talked about, dips, right? So I do think that there will be some dip sides to this. In terms of their financials, let's take a closer look at that. So in terms of net income, they're positive. That's great to see. Total equity, pretty damn solid as well. And guys, they're net in cash for actually quite a bit of sum here, $1 billion. So they're, you know what? Look at this. It's beautiful. When you want to invest in a company, by the way, mid-long term, you always have to be reassured by their balance sheet, financials, and the cash money. They can definitely pay out their liabilities and debts. So this is really good news to see. So again, you're safe with SQ. You just gotta know when to buy those dips. Like I said, towards the end of the year, we should be hitting a 250, I believe, and there will be dips afterwards as well. So that will be interesting to purchase. And also good information to have as well. I mean, as you may know, Square got also in the business of cryptocurrency, right? So all people that have access to their platforms, right, and they can purchase cryptocurrencies towards the platforms of SQ, right? Definitely there's great things going on with Square, and I'm looking forward for 2021, and I highly advise you to look into this company and to make an initial investment in this company as well. So that's my news for this Square and my prediction. Let's move on to the last one, which is LCA. Yay, so Lancadia Holdings 2 Incorporated. They're currently at $20. They're up 12% in last day, so after hours on Friday, 2.95%. So that's really great. As you can see, right, since the beginning of the year, I mean, they've been doing pretty well as well. They're at $9.94 before July, and they've been, skyrocketing since. They had a huge dip here at $12 more or less in October, so not so long ago, guys. So for whoever got in here, pretty smart move. Good job on those guys, because today we're hitting 20 and all highs. So that's strong here for LCA. For those who don't know, this is an online gaming company, and I believe there's been great news for DraftKings as well, right? They've been hitting all high times, which that's also a company that I'm invested in. And I believe that LCA, right, is the no-brainer afterwards, DraftKings. So they're both companies that are great companies for online. Obviously, the other catalyst for LCA is the merge with Golden Nugget, so I think that's going to be a tremendous positive outcome as well, and that's why there's a momentum as well here on the rise, and it's a straight line, right, guys? So again, it might be a fearful move here to see and get invested, but keep in mind that, considering the merge and also the momentum in online gaming as the states also confirm the legality of online gaming, this might actually skyrocket as well as DraftKings. Is it still a purchasing point here? You know what? I believe so. I think, definitely this is still going to go up. I believe before the end of the year, my prediction is it will definitely hit more or less $30, if not more. But just to be safe, $30. And before we see some kind of, news around this and still go even upper before we see a dip side down to that, right? So LCA definitely a great investment to be doing on the short term here, and long term for those that are believers for the online gaming, right? Even despite recovery stocks taking, some momentum as well. So in terms of PE rating, they don't have one here. Definitely, it's being overbought, but in anticipation for great news as well. So I think it's reasonable to believe they don't have their financials here, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I think here this stock, it's a volatile one, of course. It's an anticipated, speculative one as well. But I think given the merge announcements as well as DraftKings being just a big mover in the market, I believe LCE will do very well. I think next week we should see some upside here to LCE. So expect that early in the week as well. And to have a position, if you need to take one, well, you best do it very early in the week as it will become volatile. But definitely looking for that $30 target towards the end of the year. I personally won't stick to a long term for LCA. I definitely will be looking into more other sectors recovery stocks, but I want to take full advantage of this upside momentum until end of this year. But listen, guys, I mean, do your own research as well. Definitely, this is a great stock to have. I think DraftKings more so. So that's for LCA. Looking forward to see your comments, by the way, on this one. Leave them down here. I'll be happy to exchange on that one. Alright guys, so that's it for my top 5 predictions. Hope you enjoyed the content today. Let me know if you agree, if you have comments, leave them below. I'd be happy to hear those. And don't forget to hit that like button if you like the content. And please subscribe to not miss any videos in the future that I'll be doing. And let me know what you'd like to discuss about, what next stocks you'd like me to cover. I'd be happy as well to do so. So listen, have a great evening and I'll see you next time. Peace out.